to everyone. Hope you are doing well and are safe at your home during this time period. So let's start. Now, the branch of physics in which we are going to deal with the charges at rest. That means if you produced a charge on a body by any means and that charge is not moving, then what are the properties, what are the characteristics, how it is going to behave, that all kind of study we do in a special branch of physics, and that is electrostatics. Okay, so now let's go towards the story when the charge was first produced और किसके लिए भाई जाना जाता है कि ये व्यक्ति ने क्रेडिट लिया पूरा चार्जर के प्रोड्यूस होने का. सो बेसिकली ही वाज थेल्स some about 2500 years ago. Thales observed that कि जब एक एम्बर नाम के मटेरियल को हमने दूसरे मटेरियल यानी कि वूल से रब किया तो पता चला कि दैट एम्बर acquired a property of attracting some different other bodies, just like some pieces of paper, pieces of straw, plastic pieces and all that. Now, this observation was not taken into account for hundred of years. Several hundred years it was not taken into account until another person, William Gilbert, in 1600 came and discovered that not only amber but several other materials like glass, ebonite, sulfur and etc. they also acquires a same kind of property of attracting some small pieces and all that, of applying some forces on some other pieces or other materials after being rubbed. So we gave this property some name. Now, since this property was acquired by the material all because of rubbing, that was the very first thing which was clear to us. Now, if it is acquired by rubbing, we called that material which acquired this property. That means, suppose if we rub the comb with our hairs, we can see that the comb acquires a property of attracting small pieces of paper. So the comb will be said to be charged, or the comb is a charged material, or we can say the comb is an electrified material, or we can say the comb has acquired frictional electricity or static electricity. So now all these things led that we have how many types of charges should we have? But we are having so many different varieties of materials, then all materials on being rubbed should acquire, they all are acquiring property of attracting the other bodies. Now, is this property same to every material or are they different? So while experimenting with different bodies, we found that there are only two type of charges. That is one positive and one negative. Now, who give this name positive and who give this name negative to the charges when charge is only a property? So it was only for easy understanding that when a glass rod, so there were several experiments performed later on, so in which when a glass rod which was rubbed with a silk, same type of another glass rod rubbed with a silk, when these two glass rods were brought close to each other, we found that these glass rods were repelling each other. Similarly, when a ebonite rod rubbed with silk fur, another identical ebonite rod rubbed with silk fur when they were brought in contact or when they were brought nearby or in. So we found that the repulsion was observed. In this case also repulsion was observed. Now traditionally we call that इट इज़ नॉट प्रॉपर वे कि हम हमेशा ग्लास रॉड यूज़ करें बट ट्रेडिशनली वी डोंट नो वाई बट ट्रेडिशनली वी आर यूजिंग ग्लास रॉड एंड एम्बोनाइट rods. You can also use several other materials like pit balls, you know, some conductors and other things you can use. So we are using glass rods. So we found that two identical glass rods with identical materials found to show repulsion. Two identical ebonite rods rubbed with identical materials, cat's fur, so they were also showing repulsion. Now, if that glass rod brought in contact with ebonite rod, we found that there was an attraction between these two. So, later on, Benjamin Franklin simply gave the name to the property or the charge acquired by glass rod some name, and the ebonite rod also acquired some charge, and this was also given some name. So the glass rod, the charge acquired by the glass rod was given the name positive charge. It was simply ऐसे ही नाम दे दिया, कोई मतलब कुछ खास वजह नहीं उसके पीछे, but simply some name was given, just like you are given some name. It was all your father's choice or your mother's choice or your grandpa's choice or whatever your family member's choice है ना, but simply you are given name. You can also be called as Tom Cruise, but नहीं, उन्होंने आपका नाम आनंद रख दिया है ना. So simply it's a simple name. So it was given positive charge glass rod. The charge acquired by the rod was positive charge, and with the negative ebonite rod it was negative charge. And from these two experiments, not these two experiments, from whatever experiments we did, we also found that since there are only two types of charges, also these like charges, same type of charges, were found to repel each other. Like charges repel each other. While if they were of different type, one is positive, other one is negative, they will be attracting each other. So moving on further, now we need a proper explanation. This was a story form. Now we need a proper explanation, a modern explanation, so that it will be easy for us to understand it. Now, since we all know that every material is made up of atoms. Now, if every material is made up of atoms, later on initially we came to know that the smallest part is atom. Later on we came to know that not only atom, but inside it there is something heavy at the center, and we call that as nucleus, comprising of protons and neutrons. And outside it there will be a cloud of electrons moving. So that was the formation of an atom. Now, electron theory of electrification says that it is totally based on atomic model. They are already, I have said that atoms have extremely central heavy portion comprising of protons and neutrons, and the third kind of particle called electron, that is negatively charged, and we call this as positively charged. Proton as positively charged and the neutron was charged as, but the whole mass of the atom was at the center only. The third kind of charge particle was electron, that was negatively charged, and which was moving around it there was a electron cloud around the nucleus. Now the number of electrons, that is since we can say that any material, suppose we are having a scale, we brought it near a paper bit, we are finding that scale is not able to pick that paper bit. It is all because the scale is neutral now at that time. Why that is neutral? Because the total number of electrons and the total number of protons in any one atom of that scale is same. There is not imbalancing. इम्बैलेंस क्रिएट नहीं हुआ. अगर इम्बैलेंस क्रिएट होगा, then there will be cause of production of charge on the. Now, whatever we said uh, should be supported by some video. Okay, so I have made some video for you, and now in this, a charged balloon charged with your dry hair was able to pick some pieces of paper. You see this force applied by the. Now, similarly, another charged balloon was able to attract. Now, you see a space between these two charge balloons. See, there is no actual contact. Still, something that is basically charge produced on this balloon is able to attract this second balloon, non-charged balloon, and without any physical contact. So this is how this balloon is applying some amount of force on this. That is all because there is some imbalance in this, imbalance of electrons in this, which is trying to pull the positive or the negative charge from the balloon side. Now, as well as a rubbed charged thermocol sheet was able to attract some pieces of aluminum foil, as you can see. Now, as well as if there is a PVC like plastic pipe, so if it is uncharged, there is no imbalance, it is not electrified, so it will not be able to attract these small pieces of with balls or papers, but you can see it. But as now if we charge it, then we are able to see some attraction applied on this. Similarly, it is not only with these two three materials. If you are having water, then water is also made up of atoms. It is also having electrons, proton, neutrons, so that means it can also be moved from its original path, or it can be attracted or repelled accordingly. Okay, so if there is a balloon, charged balloon, and brought near the uh, water, now this flow you have already seen. This flow is a streamline flow, very small smooth flow. So when a charged balloon is brought nearby it, you can see that the water line is bending towards a balloon. That means there are some electrons nearby it which are getting attracted towards a balloon. Okay, so now similarly you can go for the straws. Now another experiment which shows you how same kind of charge repel each other. So if we have a PVC pipe, charged PVC pipe here upside, and a glass jar in which we have made a wire. This is a wire, and at the end of the wire we are having two paper foil, basically aluminum foil attached to it, two different clips. Okay, so whenever the charged rod is brought nearby this wire, we will found that the charge flows through this wire, comes into this, leaves, and if the same charge is coming, they should repel. If different charge is coming, they should attract. Now, so whenever the, oh, we can see the repulsion. Yes. So this is how an electroscope was made. So So, tell me, if we are having a metal rod held in a hand and rubbed with wood, it will not show any sign of being charged. However, if you are having a metal rod which is having a plastic handle or a wooden handle, and if you rub that rod, you will find that it is showing the sign of charging. Now, suppose we are having a neutral pith ball, and one end of the copper wire is connected to neutral pith ball, and other is connected to negatively charged plastic rod. We will find that the pith ball acquires a negative charge. Similarly, if we repeat the experiment, a glass rod, same pith ball. But this time, instead of connecting it with a copper wire, we use a nylon thread, a rubber band, a wooden stick, or a plastic rod. There will not be any transfer of charge to pith ball. Now, why does this transfer of charge does not take place in case of this nylon thread or some wooden stick, but it took place in case of copper wire? It is all because there are some materials which allow the passage of charge through them from one end to another end, and they are called as conductors. They were called as conductors. And the materials like nylon thread, wood, plastic, which do not allow the passage of charge from one end to another, they are called as insulators. Now, for conductors and insulators, again, if we watch our electroscope, we are going to find that this is a conducting body. This copper wire is a conducting body. Actually, it is allowing the passage of charge from its one end to another end and making these two aluminum foil strip to get charged. Now, instead of this copper wire, if you were having in our electroscope, if you were having a nylon thread, then you will not be able to see any sign of attraction, repulsion here. Why it is so? It is all because this nylon, if it was a nylon thread, it will not allow the passage. Now, since it is a copper wire, which is a conductor, which is allowing the electrons or allowing the charge to pass, so from one end to another end, so it is a conductor. Similarly, iron, your human body is also a okay conductor. So that means you are going to feel some shock if you were made up of wood and you directly touch the live wire in your home, then you are not going to feel any shock. If you are made up of wood, now since you are not made up of wood, you are made up of some muscles and all those materials. Now you are a okay conductor or a good conductor of electricity. So whenever you are touching that with your bare feet, so you will find that passage of charge will take place through your body and you are going to experience some shock through it. So now we will discuss on what are the ways in which we can charge a body. What are the different ways by which you can produce some charge on a body. So there are basically three different ways in which you can produce charge on a body. That is either by friction, by conduction, or by induction. We will be discussing these three: conduction, friction, and induction in detail. Now, so suppose you are having a glass rod and you are wearing a silk material in your hand. Now, if you rub it, you will find that some amount of electrons are being acquired by from glass rod to this silk fur. Now, since electron have moved from glass rod to silk fur, so there is an imbalance of electrons on both the materials. Like initially it was a neutral material. Now the electrons have moved from glass rod to silk material. So there is a deficiency of electrons on glass rod. So it will create a positive charge on glass rod. Similarly, there is a greater amount of electrons on silk. So it will be having a negative. So this is how you can make silk as well as this glass rod charged, and it is by rubbing these two materials, that is by producing friction. So by producing friction you can make the materials to be charged. And second is charging by conduction. So charging by conduction, that is making an actual contact. That is the glass rod, our glass rod, which was initially rubbed with silk fur, and that glass rod becomes positively charged. So if we bring that glass rod in contact with a neutral body, it will, what is going to happen? Huh. That is, some amount of electron will go from this neutral body to this glass rod and make this glass rod some amount of glass rod to be neutral. Now, since electrons have passed from this body to this body, so there is a deficiency of electrons on this, and we will be having a positive electrons, positive charge on this body. Or we can say by actual contact we have transferred the positive charge from one body to another body. This method of charging or producing charge on a body is called as conduction method. Okay, now we have learned about the friction method, that is by rubbing you can produce charge, by touching you can produce charge, and the very third method is now, our third method is by induction. So suppose you are having a body A which is already a negatively charged, somehow we have produced a negative charge on that body, and if there is another body V, which is neutral, that is all over it there are equal amount of positive and negative charge, and if the body A is brought in contact or brought nearby the body B, this negative charge is going to attract positive charge, already known. Unlike charges attract each other, like charges repel each other. So the negative charge has been shifted on one side and the positive charge has been shifted on one side. Now, if somehow we can remove this charge, that is a negative charge from body B, if somehow we were able to remove the negative charge from body B, that is this body, somehow, and if we, so we will find that, and if this body A is also removed to some other place, then we will find that this positive charge will be distributed on the whole body. If somehow we are able to remove this positive charge, then, and this body is removed, then we will find that the whole body is negatively charged. So if there is a neutral body connected with the insulating stand and which is neutral. Now, if a negatively charged body is brought nearby it, we will find that there is a shifting of negative and positive charge apart from each other. That is, positive charge is shifted towards negative and the negative is being repelled from the rod. So, now, if the very same time, This is how the charge is being shifted. Now, if we remove this rod, so what's going to happen? If we remove this rod, then this negative charge and the positive charge will be distributed, and if we want to remove that negative charge, we will connect that portion to the earth, because earth is the greatest acceptor, so it is going to take all the electrons from that side or the negative charge from that side, and the positive charge will be distributed on whole of the body. So without any actual contact, we have made this body charged. Neither friction nor conduction, no contact, but simply bringing another body nearby it, we made it positive charge. So these are the basically three methods of producing charge on a body, or how you can produce charge on a body. So now we'll be discussing about basic properties of electric charges. So that is additivity of charge, charge is conserved, and quantization of charge. Okay, additivity of charge, charge is conserved, and now what do you mean by additivity of charge? Simply, that is, a charge can be added or subtracted like a real number. So that is basically additivity of a charge. Just like you can add 1 plus 1, it becomes 2. So you can add 1 coulomb charge plus 1 coulomb charge, it becomes 2 coulombs of charge. And so just it can be added like added or subtracted like a real numbers. Now charge is conserved. So we took a case before, and that case was related to a glass rod was rubbed with silk fur, and some amount of electrons were transferred from glass rod to silk fur. Now, in this case, initially that glass rod was totally neutral, silk fur was also neutral, but when they were rubbed, there was an exchange of electrons. But still, there was no amount of charge being created. The charge was transferred, but it was not created. If we take a system that is a glass rod and silk fur, a single system containing glass rod and silk fur, in these two objects, there is no net charge added from anywhere else. There is no net charge gone to anywhere else. That is, the whole as a system, in an isolated system, the charge remains conserved. That is a conservation of charge, just like it's a conservation of mass. So quantization of charge means that charge can only be present in integral multiples of the basic unit. Now we denote the basic unit of charge by E. E. So this E denotes how much amount of charge an electron possesses. That is some about 1.60192 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb of charge is the amount of charge possessed by the electron. So if 5 electrons are moved from one body to some other body, say body A to body B, 5 electrons are moved. So body A will be positively charged by a value of n will be 5, value of E will be same, and it will be positively charged as there is a deficiency. Now the body which will be gaining the electron will be negatively charged and with the same amount of charge. Okay. So now we will be studying about Coulomb's law. Now, what does Coulomb's law states? Basically, suppose we have produced two charges, then we want to know with what force a body is going to attract another body. That is, if both bodies are charged, we know that both are going to attract each other. If both bodies are charged in same manner, they are going to repel. If both bodies are charged in opposite manner, they are going to attract each other. Now, Coulomb's law states that force acting between the two charges, if there are two charges q1 and say q2, and the distance between them is of separation is r, then the force either of repulsion or attraction that will be acting on both the charges will be equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q1 q2 by r square. Basically, he calculated that this force is dependent, is directly proportional to q1, is directly proportional to q2, is inversely proportional to the distance of the square between them. Now, basically, what do he mean? That is, greater this charge, greater is the force applied by this, greater is the force experienced by this. Greater is Q2, then the Q2 will apply more force on Q1 and Q1 is going to experience more force because of Q2. Greater the distance between them, that force is going to be reduced. Smaller the distance between them, that means if they are brought closer to each other, then that force is going to be reduced as a square. Now, so mathematically this law can be written as F equals to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught, where the value of epsilon is 8.854 into 10 to the power minus 12 coulomb square per Newton per meter square. And the value of K is, this is a Coulomb's constant, so its value is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught, and Q1 Q2 by R square. And the value of K is 9 into 10 to the power 9 Newton per meter square per Coulomb square. Sorry. Now, if there were more charges, that is, more than two charges are present, then we need to find the total force or the net force. So that is basically you are talking about finding the force between multiple charges. So for multiple charges, you are going to use superposition principle. That is, simply the force acting on a single charge, force, suppose you are having different charges like Q1, Q2, one more, Q3, somewhere here, Q4, Q5, Q6, and because of all this, we need to find the net charge experienced by this Q2, net force experienced by this Q2, all because of these charges. So we are going to use superposition principle. Now, superposition principle states that when a system of charges is present, then the total force experienced by a given charge, say Q naught, is equal to the vector sum of all the forces experienced by that charge due to all charges. So let us say that we are having charges Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, Q5, Q5, Q6. So let us write the names of Q1, Q3, Q4, Q5 and Q6. And there is another charge, let us say a small test charge. This a small test charge we have opted filled with red color. So this is our test charge. Now, how much force this test charge is going to experience, all because of Q1, Q2, Q3. Now see, all because of this Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, Q5 and Q6. So the how much amount of force will be experienced by this charge. Now, so if we are going to calculate that individually, so it will be a difficult task. So instead of that, we use superposition principle, and it states that the total charge will be a net vector sum of all the forces acting between this Q naught, Q naught and other charge.